Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is GentooMan here, also known as Rainy, and I am actively trying to revive this channel from the dead because I single-handedly killed it over the past little bit. So I got a good story time for you guys today. I'm just going to get right into it and not make an overtly long intro. So yeah, let's hop into it. I am just going to note, however, that I am still having difficulties with my drawing applications, so there probably won't be any drawings in this video either. I apologize. I hope to get them back soon. And with that, my intro is about as long as it usually is, so let's go. So this story time takes place probably upwards of 5 years ago now. It was the summertime. There was no school, so what better thing to do in the summertime than get the boys together and go on really random adventures. Now, I don't remember exactly what squad we had assembled for this particular day. The only members I remember is my good friend Tanner was definitely a part of this. I believe I've mentioned him before on this channel, as well as my friend Reginald. He's definitely showed up in a couple story times before, but I don't believe I've mentioned my good friend Alan. Alan is a little bit of a side character in our group of the boys, but yeah, he was here for this day, and he's pretty important to this story. So as I said, it was the summertime, every day is a new adventure. None of us had jobs at this point. No one had girlfriends. No one had any obligations except random shit with the fellas. So on a particularly sunny day, Tanner calls up the three of us, myself, Reginald, and Alan, and possibly some other people I don't really remember. And he calls us all over to his place, and he tells us to bring our bikes. So we all assemble at Tanner's domicile. We hang out for a bit, and then he bounces out the best idea he could have on this very hot day. He says we should go to The Rock. Now, The Rock was one of the spots for our group. We haven't been there in a while, but there's this foresty area near all of our houses, and in the middle of it, there's a river, and this big rock next to the river that you can climb up and jump off of into the river. And it's a cool swimming spot in the summer. So luckily, we were all strapped with our swimsuits. It was the summer. We usually ended up doing something that involved water. It was just the way it was. So we were all already strapped with the necessary equipment. We all hopped on our bikes, and off we went. So we bike down to The Rock, we arrive, and there's a couple other people there because it wasn't just our spot, it was a pretty well-known spot amongst the youths of our town. So we don't leave our stuff by the side of the river like all these other bozos. We arrive on the other side, and we climb up the back side of The Rock because you can kind of go up a hill. And there's a little space there that we called the mud pits because, surprise, surprise, there's pits of mud. So we find a dry area by the mud pits. We put our bags down, leave all our stuff secured, and we get changed into swimsuits, and we are off. Now, there's something just so fun about just being with friends and just going near a body of water and jumping into that body of water off whatever you can jump off of or throwing things into that body of water. It's just one of those, elite bonding moments with the guys, It's kind of just one of those things. I don't know. And if any girls are watching, let me know if you guys have that as well. Because, the boys watching this, you probably agree with me. You probably know what I'm talking about. But I wonder if this is just, a boys thing or what. So anyways, we're just having a grand old time, right? And while we're there, there's these two girls. And we kind of speak to them here and there. We'll say a thing or two, but we're not actively conversing, except this one girl that is conversing with Alan a decent amount. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck. The Alan and this girl, they kind of had a vibe going. I will not lie. And it got a little flirtatious after a while, but nothing too crazy. But they were definitely giving a vibe off to each other, especially the girl. She really seemed to be giving a vibe to my boy Alan. So, eventually some time goes by. We jump off the rock numerous times. We throw rocks into the river. We float down the river and nearly die. Just casual activities. And it comes to the point that we decide to leave. So we get all our stuff. We get our bikes. We get back in regular clothes. And we go past to the rock and go to leave. And Alan is still kind of talking to this girl a little bit. She's like, oh, you're going? And he's like, yeah, we're headed out. And she, like, I forget what she said, but she said something that was, like, kind of, like, flirtatious. I don't even remember exactly what she said. But she said something, and then we were all just kind of standing there in, like, silence. She said something like, oh, I was hoping that, like, you and I could get to know each other a little bit better, or something like that. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I do not know what possessed this man to do what he did next. But in those, like, 10 awkward seconds that we stood there in silence, he reached over and he poked this girl's butt and stated the iconic line from the 2003 film Finding Nemo, "I touched the butt." And she looks at him and he doesn't know what to do. So his first instinct is get the fuck out of there. He pedals like I have never seen this man pedal before, and he's out of there. And the two girls start laughing. So the rest of the squad just, like, pedals like there's no tomorrow right after our main man, Alan. I don't know if Alan was just down horrendous at this point or what happened, but he made a move, and I don't know if it was the right move. So anyways, moving past that, the fellas go back to our friend Tanner's house. We hang out for a bit, and then I come to an unfortunate realization about 2 hours later. I do not have my wallet. And now the only explanation for me not having my wallet would be that my wallet is currently still at the Rock. So I exit Tanner's house, I hop on my bike, and I haul ass back to the Rock. Because at this point, I probably had $20 whole to my name, and that was my funds for like a year and a half. So I arrive back at the Rock, I drop my bike, and I run up that hill to the mud pits where all of our shit was, because if it was anywhere, it was going to be there. And when I get up there, I was not expecting to see people, but lo and behold, that is what I saw. I saw 3 girls sitting in one of the mud pits, just covered in mud, and they were drinking what I think, well, I guess I know, but at the time I thought it was tea. And they seemed as shocked to see me as I was to see them. They're like, oh, shit. And I'm like, hey, I'm just looking for something. And I go on my search. I start digging through the trees where my shit was earlier, and I'm looking for my wallet. And I can kind of hear them giggling behind me. I don't know what about. I need my $20 back, man. That's all I have. So I don't have any luck digging through this tree area. So I turn to them and I say, hey, random question, but have any of you guys seen a black wallet around here? And the one girl is like, yeah, actually, I think I did. And she gets out of the mud pit, and I realize that she is just like, she's basically covered in mud, so I don't see a lot, but she is completely naked. And she kind of like stops and covers herself. She's like, wait, I'm covered in mud. Like, I kind of like look away, okay? And I'm like, okay. And I look at the ground. I don't know why she was naked in a mud pit, but, you know, people do what they do. That's none of my business, really. I just wanted my money back. So she like cleans off her hand with a water bottle, and she goes to her pile of stuff and pulls out a wallet and walks over to me, hands it to me, and she's like, was it this one? And I open it, and lo and behold, it was my wallet. My $20 has been rightfully returned to my hands. And I say that, I'm like, yeah, this is it, thank you so much. And she looks at me kind of weird, and she's like, I recognize you. Weren't you here earlier with the guy who poked me in the butt? And I don't really know what to say, so I start stuttering. I'm like, yeah, I was. I don't know what that was about. I'm sorry about that. And she's like, oh no, it's totally okay. Like, I thought it was funny. I'm not upset about it. Like, what like you want to join us? And I'm like, I'm okay, thanks. And then she's like, okay, do you want some of this tea, though? I don't know why, but that sounded pretty good. So I was like, okay, I'll have some tea. So I sit down next to the mud pit as this girl gets back in the mud pit, and she hands me some tea. I take a sip, and I'm just talking to them, you know? I don't really remember anything I learned about them. I learned that the girl who gave me my wallet back, I think her name was Lillian. That's all I remember, but that was neat. And as I'm sitting here, I get a text on my phone. So I open my phone, and it's my mom. And I realized that I didn't know what time it was, and it was very late, and I was past my curfew. So not wanting to get my ass whooped any more than I was already going to, I stood up, explained the situation to the women, and I bounced. Now, I'm not sure what exactly was in that tea, although I do have my suspicions, because while I was riding my bike home, I felt like I was riding through space for like 4 years. Like, it was insane. Probably not 4 years, but like, you know, I just felt really, really long. And I felt like I was just riding a bike through space. I didn't know what was happening. It was pretty wild. Or maybe my brain just sucks and decided that's what was happening. That's also possible. But anyways, that concludes yet another tale from the life of Rainy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I really hope I can bring this channel back from the dead. It was doing pretty good, then I kind of killed it, but I'm hoping to bring it back. So for those of you who are still here and for anybody who's new, thank you so much for watching this video. I love you all, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Later.